Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nicole. I'm going to talk about a paper entitled Improving English Learners Speaking Through Mobile-Assisted Peer Feedback, which is written by Junjie Wu and Lindsay Miller. It is published at Regional Language Center RELC Journal in 2020. My presentation will include these 5 parts: introduction, methodology, summary of findings, my critiques for this paper, and some possible application in my opinion. In 2004, McCarthy and O'Keefe called for a closer integration of technology and speaking practice in second language learning. However, because speaking is not a key component in school testing system, it does not receive the in-class attention compared to other language skills. Under the Learner-Oriented Assessment (LOA) framework, the study tried to explore the perception students and that their teachers have when using mobile technology in class, in an attempt to give feedback on and hence improve student speaking performance. Thus, the authors proposed their research question: how can mobile-assisted peer feedback enhance ESL students' learning experience in relation to their speaking skills? For the methodology, this study was a preliminary study. It is conducted with 25 students from an ESP course offered to the business school as a public university in Hong Kong. The duration of this study was 13 weeks long, 3 hours per week. Students and the teacher were required to use a peer feedback tool called Peer Eval, which is chosen by researchers because it is designed specifically for use in the traditional classroom context. The instruments involve both quantitative way and a qualitative way. The former is a questionnaire containing 5-point Likert items, from strongly agree to strongly disagree. The latter includes open-ended questions on the same questionnaire, like, did you find it difficult to assess your classmate talk? If yes, why? After that, a post-class group interview was conducted with some volunteer students. In addition to it, they also had the teacher keep a research journal throughout the project. As for the procedure of the study, it begins with the introduction of the ape, followed by the practice activity, summarizing students' feedback by the teacher, and ends with an assessment of English speaking ability. If you are interested in this procedure, you can pause at this slide and take a look at it. Let's move on to the summary of finding parts. The study indicates the participants have positive attitudes on using mobile-assisted tool in class, and they claim that the ape indeed improved their English speaking. To conclude the study, the author made the following 5 points. Number 1. The ape is user-friendly and efficient for giving feedback. Number 2. Students become producers of knowledge and thus arise their learner autonomy. It is suggested by Hafner and Miller that higher learner autonomy can achieve better learning outcomes. Number 3. Affected concerns both strengthen and weaken the effectiveness of peer feedback. Though there is a student thinking feedback giving him a chance to be more socially equal in providing comment, another student thinks pointing out others' problems is too straightforward. Number 4. Although the ape releases the teacher's burden from constantly giving individual feedback, it causes another problem. Some students fail to recognize the usefulness of peer feedback as they may lack of knowledge of giving constructive feedback. Number 5. There are some technological problems, such as students' cell phone screen is too small. the ape automatically logs out, etc. In the end, the authors return to McCarthy and O'Keefe quote, which is pursuing a closer integration of technology and speaking practice in second language learning. After reading the study, here is some of my critiques. Because this study is a preliminary study, I think it's acceptable that it contains some unrigorous elements. But if we would like to investigate more about the topic, we will do some revision, such as change one-shot design into repeated design. The study only includes post-test and did not mention they had pre-test. All we know about student performance is from students' questionnaire reported by themselves. Also, if the financial support is allowed, we could include a control group to be observed at the same time, because without a control group, we could not know whether there are other intervening factors affecting the outcomes of study. That is to say, we cannot sure that it is the ape improves student English speaking ability, or there are other factors like a maturation effect. Besides, the sampling strategy has some problems too. In the post-class interview, the participants were some volunteer students. These students may not be the best representative or race of students, because they are not selected randomly. Someone who volunteered to be interviewees underlies they may be confident for their English speaking ability, or we may infer the reason they volunteered may because they believe their speaking have improved, and so they held a positive orientation to this ape. The above factors will result in the inaccurate and unfair comment to the ape. Therefore, instead of picking volunteers, we can randomly choose the participants to interview. In addition, the scale of participants is too small. The study only includes 25 participants. We cannot claim that the study can be extended to other settings. The proper revision is that we could try to enlarge the number of participants to ensure that the study can be generalized. There is no evidence or statistics show the participants' speaking ability has improved. Even more, the last part of the paper only focuses on students' opinions toward the ape and doesn't provide any description of students' improvements. Last, there is no way to tell if it's peer review or if it's the ape improves the speaking ability. We do not know whether the peer review has impact on improving learning speaking ability. If it is true, then we cannot say their improvement is only due to the ape. In this study, they describe how a mobile-assisted tool can be applied in a traditional classroom setting. The study provides a basic framework of similar research. We could replace the peer eval into other apes or even other teaching methods that we are interested in. Moreover, we can dig deeper into the relationship of peer feedback and the cultural difference. In the study, the researchers mentioned peer feedback stopped one of the students giving her true comment to her classmates. They said that it resulted from the Chinese virtue of saving face. It gave me an idea to compare Western and Eastern students when they giving comments to their classmates, and to see if Eastern students are really affected by virtue. Additionally, we can transfer the target participants from undergraduate students to secondary school students in Taiwan to see if the ape works on different age and English proficiency. The participants in this study is in intermediate to advanced level learners. I would like to know how this ape works among low proficiency students and also younger learners. is the end of my presentation. Thank you, and please feel free to comment or ask questions.